Chapter 2. Beneath the Surface. Jessica's Perspective. We were building something real. Or so I told myself. After that stormy summer, Michael and I became inseparable. Our bond tightened fast, maybe too fast, until everything else faded into the background. Sometimes I wanted to slow down, catch my breath, hold on to the pieces of myself I wasn't sure I'd keep. But there was this louder, bolder part of me, starved for meaning, that got swept up in the rush. It felt like standing at the edge of something vast, wind in my chest, one foot already off the ledge. A year after we made it official, I graduated from Howard with a degree in business administration and a minor in accounting. Sharp, serious, like armor. Kathy, my compass, graduated too, pivoting from accounting into business analytics, not to chase legacy, to build her own. Michael's internship turned into a real opportunity. After graduation, the firm kept him and brought in Jason too. Jason could have gone straight to his father's firm, but he didn't. He and Michael made a pact. No shortcuts. Legacy earned, not inherited. Jennifer soared, blew through her bachelor's and into a master's program before any of us blinked. Always the dynamo. Always 10 steps ahead. Watching us chase our futures felt electric, chaotic, but aligned. Like we'd finally caught the rhythm of something that belonged to us. Sometimes I'd pause in the middle of it all, heart full, hands busy, and try to bottle it, preserve it, because I knew golden moments never last, and sometimes the rush hides the fall. A new beginning. That year marked a shift, not just in where we lived, but in how we saw ourselves. Kathy, Michael, and I moved into a sunlit downtown apartment, all white walls and open potential. Technically, it was a gift. Kathy's father covered our first year's rent, so long as she stayed enrolled and worked at his firm. But in true Kathy fashion, she flipped the script. She stayed in D.C., chose us. Chose to rebuild his empire, but on her terms. A calculated rebellion dressed in ambition. Move-in day was chaos. Boxes everywhere, footsteps echoing, the scent of fresh paint thick in the air. I ran my hand along the cold granite, breathing in cardboard and wood polish and adrenaline. This was real. This was ours. The apartment still looked half-finished. Bare walls, pillows out of place, a bookshelf waiting to be filled. Family photos leaned along the hallway floor, waiting to be remembered. We were building something, but the space, like our future, felt incomplete. Every untouched drawer, every blank wall buzzed with possibility, laced with something quieter, uncertainty. "I can't believe you pulled that off," I said to Kathy, still half in awe. She tossed a roll of bubble wrap like a trophy. "Didn't your mom want you in the Dominican Republic?" I teased. Kathy smirked. "Girl, please. You think he's letting me leave?" I'm a magician in his eyes now. And then quieter. "Ever since he married Ms. Kachina, my mom's been trying to ship me off." She said it with a laugh, but I knew better. Her relationship with her stepmother was rocky, but she loved her half-sisters fiercely, like she'd go to war just to give them what she never had. Michael's father, more distant but quietly generous, paid 65% of our rent. Jason refused help altogether, lived alone in a sleek condo, dim lighting, clean lines, and a guest list that rarely extended beyond the people he trusted. Even back then, that list was short. We called it independence. But sometimes, it just felt like loneliness in disguise. The price of ambition. One night, surrounded by pizza boxes and half-assembled furniture, the apartment smelled like takeout and wood shavings. New beginnings laced with exhaustion. Kathy sat cross-legged on the floor, wrestling with an IKEA drawer like it had insulted her ancestry. Michael had gone to bed, leaving the two of us in rare quiet. I nudged her with my foot. "So, when are you and Jason making it official?" She smirked. "We're good. He does his thing, I do mine." "Pretty sure you're the only one doing anything," I teased. Her smile faltered, just slightly, but I caught it. She recovered with a shrug. "Trust me, he's out there. He just doesn't bring home trophies." The line had bite. It sounded like deflection, but felt like confession. Because I knew Kathy. I knew how sharp she got when she was hiding something soft. She cared, even if she didn't want to say it out loud. Later, after the apartment settled into stillness, we sat in the glow of a single lamp. The boxes were pushed aside. Kathy stared out the window like the skyline was holding her hostage. "You've been quiet," I said. She sighed, the kind of sigh that carries weight. Jason's been asking me to make it official, again. I blinked. Wait, he's the one pushing? She nodded. It's not new. He brought up marriage last spring, said he was serious. And? I panicked, she said. Told him we needed space, that I wasn't ready. Is that true? A pause, then. Maybe it's not about readiness. Maybe it's fear, or control, or just not wanting to belong to something before I fully belong to myself. That hit hard. You're scared that saying yes means losing a piece of you. Her voice was thick. Yeah, exactly that. You're not wrong to protect your freedom, I said. But love doesn't mean disappearing. And Jason, he sees you. All of you. She exhaled, shaky. And that scares the hell out of me. I took her hand. Don't push him away because you're afraid of being seen. You're not building someone else's life, Kathy. This gets to be yours. Her lips curved, soft and real. You always do this. See the stuff I don't want anyone else to see, and still stay. That's what best friends do, I said. We don't flinch. She leaned on my shoulder for a moment, and I knew, whatever happened with Jason, or her father, or her fear, Kathy would find her way. She always did. Jennifer's quiet struggles. A few days later, Jennifer came to town. One of her whirlwind visits, all stilettos and perfume, laughter before the door even closed. She was only in D.C. for 48 hours, but somehow made it feel like college again. Like nothing had changed. But everything had. Kathy was building her legacy while dodging vulnerability. I was planning a future with Michael I wasn't sure I fit inside. And Jennifer, she sparkled like always. But beneath her laughter, I felt it. The soft, unraveling thread she thought no one could see. That night, after too much wine and not enough food, the apartment dimmed to a soft hush. Jennifer leaned against the counter, barefoot, braids slightly undone, glass in hand. You know, Jess, she said, voice light but laced with something heavier. Must be nice having it all figured out. I laughed. What do you mean? She nodded toward the living room. You and Michael, apartment, plan grown-up cutlery. Meanwhile, I'm out here swiping through gym bros who think monogamy is a Marvel villain. I snorted. Jen. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. I keep waiting for someone who doesn't flinch when I mention 5-year goals and health insurance deductibles. You will. She sighed. Sometimes I think I'm too much. Too driven. Too intense. Too me. It wasn't self-pity. It was raw honesty. You're not too much, I said. You're clear? Anyone scared of that? Was never meant to keep up. She studied me. It just seems easier for you, like you're already in chapter 4 while I'm still redlining the prologue. It's not as easy as it looks, I said. We're figuring it out too. She nodded, but the wistfulness stayed. Maybe I'll just build something so good I forget I ever needed anyone beside me. She meant it as a joke, but it landed like a prayer. The next morning I found her curled by the window, coffee in hand, the light catching her face just so. Quiet strength. Unreadable, but present. I sat beside her. You'll find someone who doesn't make you shrink, I said. Someone who sees you and stays. She didn't answer right away. Then, or maybe I'll stop waiting to be chosen and just choose myself. I nodded. That counts too. She looked at me. The weight wasn't gone, but it had shifted. And I remembered what made Jennifer powerful. She sparkled even while trying not to break. The leap, lately, I'd been watching us all. Kathy with her fear of surrender, Jennifer with her curated silences, and wondering if maybe none of us felt as sure as we pretended. Maybe we were all building lives we hoped wouldn't collapse the moment we stepped inside them. I told myself I was different, that Michael and I were steady, that we had a plan. Then, one gray afternoon, he asked if we could tour houses. I thought it was spontaneous, just a way to kill time. But by the third house, something shifted. His smile tightened. His gaze lingered on crown molding and closet space. He paced like he was checking boxes on a list written long before I arrived. What do you think of this one? He asked. I ran my fingers across the marble island. It's beautiful, but why now? He exhaled. My dad's help runs out after the first year. I need to plan. For us. Those last words were heavier than the others. Not cruel, just decided. There was a thrill, equal parts fear and flattery. He was serious. He saw a future with me. But as he spoke, a quiet pressure hummed beneath my ribs. It was how he said plan, like it had already been written, like I was stepping into something pre-built, not co-creating it. We wandered room to room. Pretty, polished, empty. Michael talked about home offices, kids' bedrooms, where the Christmas tree would go. I smiled. I nodded. But all I could think was, he's drawing a blueprint, and I never picked up a pen. Valentine's Day was just another Tuesday, until it wasn't. Kathy had a party lined up. Jennifer was in town, buzzing with her usual bad influence charm. No third wheeling? Kathy smirked. You've got a man. I'm trying to find one. Moments later, Jennifer burst in, heels in hand, halfway through a story. What's the plan, ladies? They disappeared into the night, laughing, radiant, reckless. And I stayed behind. Because Michael had other plans. It started with a note, folded in a crimson envelope on my bed. Then came the dress, deep red satin with a line at the bottom that read, "Tonight changes everything." Outside, a sleek Mercedes waited. Michael stepped out. Dark suit, soft smile. He didn't say much, just opened the door and whispered, "I love it when you say we." The drive was quiet. His fingers brushed mine, like punctuation to something unspoken. We pulled up to a house I'd once mentioned in passing. Ivy-covered porch, bay windows, fairy tale quiet. Inside, fairy lights and roses turned empty rooms into something dreamlike. It was beautiful. But beneath the beauty was pressure. Then the lights flared, and from around the corner came familiar faces, friends, family. Before I could catch my breath, Michael dropped to one knee. A ring, a life, a question. "Welcome to our new home," he said. "Will you marry me?" Tears blurred my vision. I whispered yes, even as something deep inside me whispered back, "This is forever." Isn't it? The wedding. We married on July 19th, beneath a sky so blue it felt like a blessing. My dress shimmered. Michael looked at me like I was everything. Vows, hands, laughter. It was perfect. But the cracks had already begun. Between Kathy and Jennifer, something shifted. They still stood beside me, smiling, toasting, but their laughter no longer overlapped. The inside jokes were gone, and they never said a word. Not to me. Not to each other. What once was unbreakable had started to bend. Still, that day stayed sacred, a mosaic of joy, even if pieces were already slipping out of place. After the wedding. As the reception wound down, I stood near the window, champagne in hand, watching the city shimmer. Across the room, Kathy and Jennifer stood with a few guests. From a distance, it looked fine, but I knew their rhythm. Kathy's smile was fixed. Jennifer's laugh came half a beat late. A guest brushed past them, and Kathy stepped back. Just slightly. I felt it behind my ribs. Then Michael leaned close. Jennifer had to leave. Said there was an emergency. No concern, no panic. Just a casual explanation. I nodded, but something stayed with me. She should have been there. As the toast began, I sat beside Michael and forced a smile. "Do you think she's okay?" I asked. "I'm sure she'll be fine," he said. "It's just one of those things." But it didn't feel like just anything. And in the quiet between clinks and cheers, I couldn't shake the feeling. Something was slipping. Quietly. Already gone before I had the words to name it.